If you're looking for your purpose, then this video is for you. Today I'm talking about Ikigai and why, in my opinion, it doesn't work. I'm going to be sharing how I tweak this system in order to get out of confusion and on your path to purpose. If you're new here, I'm Alex. I'm a former 9-to-5er turned life coach, and I'm here to help you get on your path to purpose by taking the first steps towards quitting your 9-to-5. I've been searching for my purpose for a long time. I knew I was ready for a career change, but I didn't know what my next step would be. I knew I wanted it to be purpose-driven, but I felt stuck because I didn't know what that was. I spent a lot of time on Google searching how to find your purpose and hoping that I could find some system or tip or trick that could help me just magically click everything into place and my purpose would become clear to me. Along the way, I found Ikigai, and it finally seemed like the system that might help me find my purpose. But as soon as I dove in, I found a couple issues with it, and I'm going to share those with you today. But first, what is Ikigai? It's a feeling of accomplishment and purpose that comes with following your passions. Activities that generate a feeling of Ikigai are not forced. They're something that happens spontaneously and you're happy to do them. Ikigai is comprised of 4 components, and they are what you love, what you're good at, what you can get paid for, and what the world needs. And the premise behind the system is that when you find the intersection of these 4 things, you'll find a feeling of Ikigai, or a sense of purpose at what you're doing. At first glance, the system seems simple, clear, and it makes sense as far as finding your purpose. But once you dive into filling out the 4 categories, you might find yourself more confused than when you started. So I'm going to walk through each of the 4 components of Ikigai and talk to you about why, in my opinion, it doesn't work and what I did to tweak it in order to make it work for me. So starting off with what you love, you probably fall into one of 2 camps. You either feel like you love too many things and you don't know how to choose, or you may feel like you don't love anything that passionately to make it your career. So if you're one of those people that loves a lot of things, you may either feel confused about how to choose which one, or you just may not feel like you want those to be part of your career. And we can love a lot of things without having them be part of our purpose. They can just be for enjoyment. And if you feel like you don't love a lot of things and you're not sure what you're passionate about, you're probably going to feel a little down and stuck when it comes to the first component of Ikigai. So the way I like to tackle this first one is, instead of thinking about what you love, think about what it takes to feel fulfilled every day. For me, when it comes to feeling fulfilled in a career path, there's 2 components. The first being alignment with your values, and the second being alignment with your ideal lifestyle. When you're living in alignment with your values and your life is an expression of your values, you feel an internal rightness. Let's use an example from my own life. I have some values of freedom, environmentalism, and learning. And in my past life as a water resources engineer, I was able to express my values of environmentalism and learning. I was always learning on the job, and the work that I did had a positive impact on the planet. But I also had a 9-to-5 office job, and so my value of freedom wasn't being expressed as much as I would have liked. So the way to get started with this is to identify a list of your top values. Let's say about 10 values, and you want to understand their relative ranking compared to one another. So what's your top value versus what would be at the bottom of the list? And once you have that list, reflect on your life and think about how well you're expressing each of those values. So you can ask yourself, what would it take to better honor my top values in my life? And ideally, you'll have a good balance of expressing and honoring your full list of values. And the second step is to think about what your ideal lifestyle is. Is your ideal lifestyle sitting behind a desk 8 hours a day, or do you want more flexibility in your life? Where do you want to work from? Who do you want to work with? How many hours do you want to work every week? Start considering these things. And if your current lifestyle is out of alignment with your ideal lifestyle, then you may feel some internal tension every day, even if your job is fulfilling in other ways. So once you have a better understanding of what'll help you feel fulfilled every day through your values and your ideal lifestyle, you can move on to the next one, which is what you're good at. So similar to the what you love category, if you're a multi-passionate or a multi-talented person, then you may have trouble narrowing down what you're good at. And just know that your purpose can be a combination of many skills that you have. And the way that those combine isn't always obvious at first glance, and usually you have to just get started down your path, and then slowly things will start to fall into place. If you're the type of person that wants to leave your 9-to-5 to start your own business, then you're likely going to be starting up as a one-person business, and it's going to be really helpful for you to be more of a generalist because you're going to be tackling everything that needs to be done in your business in the beginning. When I first started thinking about my purpose, I had skills in photography. I had been shooting photography for the last 10 years. I had interest in graphic design, and I also had skills from my 9 to 5, like project management. So instead of trying to figure out which of those skills is my purpose, I actually combine a lot of them in the work that I do today. I use my background in photography to support making YouTube videos. I use my interest in graphic design to help me create Instagram content. And I also use my project management skills to plan out my tasks every week. So my next tip as far as the what you're good at category is to not discount a skill just because you have to learn it. So while I did have a background in photography, I did not have a background in videography. So I knew how to use a camera and I knew the basics of exposing a photo, but I had to learn a lot about videography in order to get started on YouTube. Sometimes what we're good at isn't obvious to us. Sometimes we take it for granted and it's something that comes naturally to us. And there's an article by Derek Sivers and it is titled "Obvious to You, Amazing to Others." And basically he talks about things that are obvious to you and they may seem too simple or not even worth sharing are actually really amazing for others and that it's not obvious to others. So if you aren't exactly sure what you're good at, you could start talking to those close to you, maybe your friends, your family, your coworkers, and ask them what they perceive that you're good at that isn't easy for them. Okay, the next category of Ikigai is what you can make money doing. And this category I'm just going to quickly touch on. I don't think that a lot needs to be said for this, but my main takeaway here is to not get too focused on what you can make money from, because in today's world, you can make money doing almost anything. Just look at the example of YouTube. We have people on here filming their everyday lives, and from that, they're making AdSense revenue. Maybe they're doing brand deals, or maybe they're monetizing their audience by selling some sort of product or course. And if you think that people might not be interested in what you have to share, I've seen videos of people cleaning carpets, and there's also a lot of channels that are really popular of people just grooming pets. People are just filming their everyday lives and other people find it really fascinating to watch. So my biggest tip as far as the you can make money from it category is to just figure out the other 3 categories of Ikigai and start putting yourself out there, and this one will work itself out. All right, that takes us to the last category of Ikigai, which is what the world needs. And when I first think about this one, it feels a little broad and a little vague. And the way I like to think about it is actually what the world needs from you. And in my opinion, this category is the most important because if you're someone who wants to leave their 9 to 5 and start their own business, figuring out this category is going to form the foundation of your offer. So a lot of the time I find that people aren't thinking about their unique contributions when it comes to what the world needs. They're chasing trends or things that they can quickly monetize. How many of you have ever tried to find your purpose in a top 5 most profitable side hustles of 2022 type of list? And I definitely fell into this trap as well. I spent a lot of time focusing on things that I felt were quick and I could easily monetize, but ultimately I knew that they weren't my purpose and I just wasted time going down those paths. So if you want to start thinking about what your unique contributions are, there's 2 questions that you can ask yourself. So the first question here is, what have I overcome that other people also want to overcome? And if this type of question gives you a little bit of imposter syndrome, just remember that people are looking for a guide and not a guru. Once you're one step ahead of someone who's on the same journey as you can now guide them. You have just a little bit more information that can help them get to where you are, and you can show them how to do it a little bit quicker and more efficiently than you did. Think of it like you and the person that you're guiding are climbing up a mountain. You're a little bit further up the mountain than them, but you're still close enough. You understand their struggles and you're more relatable to them than someone who's already at the top of the mountain. So let's look at my example here. I really wanted to quit my 9 to 5, and so I took the steps necessary to make that happen. I paid off my debt, I saved up some money, I started my side hustle, and ultimately left my 9 to 5 to start my own business and create the freedom that I wanted in life. And now I coach others to do the same thing, and I'm only a couple steps ahead of someone who wants to quit their job right now. So the second thing you can contemplate or ask yourself if you're trying to figure out your unique contribution or perspective in the world is to complete the following sentence. The world would be perfect tomorrow if blank. So for me, I think the world would be perfect tomorrow if everyone was happy and fulfilled in their jobs and living as their authentic selves. And so these are the 2 main pillars of the work that I do. So how would you answer that question? What would make the world perfect tomorrow in your opinion, and why do you feel that way? So in summary, you might have a little bit more success with the Ikigai method if you use the following tips. Instead of thinking about what you love, consider what will make you feel fulfilled. Consider what your top values are and what your ideal lifestyle is. Consider a broad range of skills, and don't be afraid to reach out to others and ask them what they perceive to be your skills. Don't feel limited by trying to figure out how it'll make money. We can make money in a lot of different ways these days with the power of the internet. And lastly, figure out what the world needs from you. Figure out your unique contribution, and you can do that by asking yourself, what have you overcome that others might also want help overcoming? Or you can figure out what would make the world a better place and have that form the foundation of your mission and vision statements for your company. All right, well, that's the video, and I hope this helps you have more success with the Ikigai method and finding your purpose. Let me know down in the comments if this helped and what you discovered about yourself. And be sure to check out the next video here, and I'll see you next week.